Hi, my name is Henshaw Plath. I am originally from California and I now live in Montevideo, Uruguay. I spent a lot of time trying to explore emerging technologies and play with what's out there because I sort of really enjoy finding out what's new and how things work. And at some point I started getting involved in technology for social change because I wanted to combine what I'm doing in different parts of the world. And it occurred to me that that finding out what people are, that you should sit down and you should work with what people have. So people have, in different parts of the world, different sets of tools. And one of the things that's really been amazing about the last couple of years is the sort of the number of mobile phones that have been adopted in the developing world. You see unbelievable ability for people to have these phones, and the amazing thing is that traditionally new communication technologies have been very expensive, but the economics of being able to give everyone a cell phone and a cell phone number has in some ways been incredibly liberating, so that many more people are now able to communicate directly with each other, and it saves them a lot of time in travel and provides an equal set of information. But one of the things that surprises me is that the costs, because the cost of getting started is very low. You know, you can get a phone for a couple dollars and then a SIM on top of it, and you can get going, but the per use charges are actually really quite high for the people involved. You know, we're talking, you know, 5 US cents a minute, you know, or 10 US cents or 50 US cents a minute for a phone call, you know, 5 or 10 or 15 US cents a minute per SMS message. And so people use it where they need to, or if they have an excess and they can afford it, but you constantly see people reaching sort of their end of their resources, and they have to cut back and they have to sort of stop using these resources. What's amazing for me is that when you look at text messages and look at how they're built, they're a header packet inside an SS7 and network protocol, and so they're very short. I mean, they're almost no cost to the network to run. To initiate a phone call, to make a phone call and set the phone ringing, it's 6 of these packets that go back and forth, and yet they're charging almost the same cost as a 1-minute phone call for these header packets. And so we end up in a world in which we have a very powerful medium, text messages, and an even more powerful medium, the ability to do voice calls to and from all sorts of people around the world. And we have a really expensive network in which you are extracting a tremendous amount of wealth from the very poor. And people are making value choices, and they're choosing to buy these minutes and these messages. But one of the things we're talking about here at Mobile Active is how do we apply the technologies that our people are using that are accessible, the only way you can communicate to many of these communities, and how do we apply them to social justice? How do we apply them to development issues? How do we apply them to changing the life on the ground for people? And that's when it's been most surprising. So I've heard stories of a project, Hello Citizen, in Brazil. I've heard stories of health projects all over the world, and these are amazing pilot projects that do really amazing work. I sat on a talk today about a project to create group communication among HIV victims. And they could only do a pilot project because they only had 40 people, and at 40 people they were sending, you know, 100,000 messages per month. So it was costing $4,000 a month to run the pilot program. And so it's a great proof of concept, but you can't apply it to the larger world. And so development is really restricted by this.